Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing, by the way, Happy New Year! Happy 2016. Today is the first day of 2016. Wanted to get it started off right with a Walking Dead video for you guys for today. In this one, we're going to be counting down and talking about the top 5 best character transformations or character evolution for individual characters in AMC's The Walking Dead television series up to The Walking Dead Season 6's second half. So I hope you guys had a good one last night. I hope you had a good rollover to 2016. Pretty excited for the new year. And I personally don't do the resolution thing. I know a lot of people are like, what's your New Year's resolution? I don't do that. I generally have goals, each month, the stuff I'm working on. And yeah, I have some for 2016, but it's not like a resolution. It's more like a year goal, that kind of thing. It's just to basically do things faster. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to increase speed this year, try to do things more quickly, pretty much everything for efficiency. So that's me. Anyways, if you guys are doing a New Year's resolution, if you're trying to get up to doing a certain amount of push-ups or lose weight or do something, write it in the comments below what you're going to try to do this year. And yeah, let me know. I should hear what you guys are trying to do. Most of them are probably going to be fitness related, to be honest. But yeah, so this one we'll talk about the top 5 best character evolution, character transformations in The Walking Dead so far. So this is one huge advantage that television series have over a movie, right? So in a movie, you only have a certain amount of time to tell the story. Yes, you can have some good character development in that time, but it's usually pretty limited to the plot of the story. You have it going through, and you have a climax at the end. Of course, there's very few movies. Like for example, we've been talking about Star Wars lately because the new Star Wars movie. There's very few movies that are in a movie series like that where they have a saga where you start off with Vader as a kid, and then at the end Vader is like the one of the most feared people in the entire universe or in the galaxy. So there's very few things that can transform like that in movies. Some TV series, this usually applies much better to television series to see a character grow and transform over the series. Start out at one point and then at another point be a totally different person, totally different character at that time. So I'm thinking a series like Breaking Bad, for example, where you have probably, as Bryan Cranston said, something that's really never been done before in a drama-based TV series, which I believe he said you start off with Mr. Chip at the beginning of Breaking Bad, and then he ends with, it basically becomes one of the most badass villains in any TV series ever. And they did that. They did that, and I think it felt really, really natural, because as you see it going through, you see the slow evolution of the character going from the beginning of just a regular high school chemistry teacher to this drug overlord, which is cool, in Breaking Bad. So The Walking Dead has a lot of them too. They have a lot of characters at the beginning of the series, start at a certain point, kind of figure out the zombie apocalypse and what they're going to have to do to survive. And as we go through, they change quite a bit. So this one's going to be top 5 in terms of the best ones. I won't be including Morgan's because even though I hoped that I was going to enjoy Morgan's that much, I find him to be very naive at this point in the zombie apocalypse. Like he's still kind of tripped up on stuff that we kind of found out about back in season like 2 or 3 when you think about it, with regards to Randall and Shane and what do you do, and in that type of situation you don't really have a whole lot of choice. Are you going to hurt a character on your own team that has saved your team many times to defend some scumbag that tried to kill you all, tried to kill them all? To me, it's so naive. When it comes to war, you just can't do stuff like that. That's insane. So he has become a team killer, so to speak. So I'm not going to include him because his transformation, even though it was good at the beginning up to season 3's part, I haven't enjoyed it that much in season 6. So he won't be on the list. Also, characters like the governor, because with the governor, yeah, he started out as like a regular person that we know of, so that we know, like regular working man, so to speak, and then he transforms in the zombie apocalypse into this brutal character. But we never really got to see that transformation. We always knew him from the beginning as somebody that would kill others and take their stuff without feeling bad for it, would sit in front of the good old fish tank television set, zombie apocalypse, zombie heads, and just soak it all in and enjoy it. And so we've known him to be a psycho from the beginning. So he loses, he kind of calms down, and he comes back up. It's whatever. It wasn't the best, and it would have been cool to see him from the beginning as he was a good guy. And what happened to him, then I might include him on this list, but otherwise I can't. There's so many other characters; it's hard to narrow it down to just 5. But these are the 5 that I'm going to choose that so far throughout the series I've noticed the biggest changes in from one point to another, and felt like it was really handled well in the series, and are some of the most memorable. So number 5, starting it off, this one's going to be one of our earlier characters. Of course, I had to include him on the list, and that is Shane, John Bernthal. Shane. New picture of him, by the way, as the Punisher in Daredevil Season 2 on Netflix. So that's pretty cool. He's going to be playing the Punisher, so that's cool to see. His transformation, his evolution was really fast. It was way faster than a lot of our other characters, where he realized that in this type of dire situation there will be blood, and that he has to do whatever he has to do in order to keep his group safe. You have Otis and what happens with him, save the last one, that kind of thing. It's quite the transformation. He's beating up Ed and stuff like that. And he was kind of a badass to begin with, but by the time Season 2 ends, he has gone full circle or 180 in the other direction, I would say, to the point where he just goes from being a good guy that is leading a group and doing a great job, or maybe not a great job, but he's doing a job. He's doing a damn job. He's keeping people alive. And to the point where he's ready to kill Rick and kill other members of the group. It's an interesting transformation, whether you view it as an anti-hero, whether you view it as a villain, whether you view it from his point of view or from Rick and the other group's point of view. It's just a great transformation. It's really fast too, and I always like to think back to where Shane was at that time, seeing other characters at that point now, and he didn't have any of that naivety. He figured things out pretty quick and was pretty smart to realize that him or Otis is not going to get out of there. Only one of them's going to make it. And the part with the baby and that, and Lori and Rick and him coming back, he kind of goes off the wheel, I guess. So maybe it was too much to take in at once, and he tried to switch too slow, or he tried to go too fast, and maybe he should have slowed it down. But it was a great transformation to see him being part of the group and then become kind of the villain to Rick as we watch it. Rick almost felt like Shane's show for a while in Season 2 when you see it from his perspective a lot of times. So it was that was great. So I had to include that one list to put at number 5 because it ended in Season 2. It was a long time ago. Number 4. So number 4 is going to be Michonne. So Michonne's transformation has been really good as well too, because she starts off in basically, she's pretty much dead. She's pretty much dead already. She is not in a positive mindset. She feels beaten down. She feels like basically destroyed. Andrea, her only friend in the world, has turned her back on her, and she's by herself. She meets Rick and the others. She takes a chance for it, and over the course of the series, she goes from just being in this state of total depression and not wanting to do anything to being hopeful and wanting to take a chance to see what Alexandra is all about, and having that optimism, and even at this time right now, Deanna asking her what she wants, questioning her motives, questioning what she does want, and seemingly at this time, even as dark as things become, and knowing that that's the world that they live in, still that she can, remain hopeful, and she can still look forward to the future. And we'll see what they do with her character in the future too, because her transformation is not done. But she's one of the only ones that told Glenn and the others when they were kind of on the road for too while, talking about them being out there too long and them needing to find a home base and needing to rebuild and set it up. So she is a huge, part of what got the group to Alexandria and has helped them, I think, survive over the long term, because that's going to be, obviously having walls like that, even though right now it's in a bad situation, it's better, I think, than being out on the run all the time. Tyrese, what happened with him is like them showing us that if you're out there just running around all the time, there's going to be casualties just haphazardly. You need a base, you need a home base for sure. Otherwise, you're just scavenging, basically. So that's number 4. Number 3 is going to be Daryl. So Daryl's transformation is pretty fun as well too, and of course, he's still in flux. I think he's still not 100% quite figured out exactly where he's at or who he is, that kind of thing. But at the beginning, he starts out as kind of that badass that doesn't really like anybody, doesn't have time for anybody, really pissed off and just nasty. And he really opens up through the show, into the prison story arc where he becomes like a leader of groups as they go out and everything. And then even up to this point now, where he wants to kind of go out and do his own thing. thing. He kind of still has that part of him, and he realizes he needs that. But also, too, that he still thinks that they should bring characters in to Alexandria, that they should give people a chance, disagreeing with Rick even, and to that point, and learning to care for others when he's so closed off earlier on. So big transformation from him, and I liked seeing it quite a bit, and I'm interested to see what they're going to do with him in the future. Number 3, Daryl. Number 2 is going to be Rick, of course, Rick Grimes. So his transformation, people always kind of argue with me about this one, where he starts off as your kind of your good guy cop, and as he goes through the show, he even gets to the point now where I would say a lot of the actions that he takes are actually evil intent, at certain times. So he's an interesting one, and he's one that people like to debate about and argue with me about, and that's cool. That's no problem. It's just kind of how it is when you see someone transform. It's kind of like Walter White. He starts not as bad as Walter White, but maybe halfway, almost. He's halfway there, like with Bob and that kind of stuff. Granted, he does what he has to do without the naivety. So he hits Bob as Bob's running, and then he tells him to shut up, and he shoots him, right? So that part, okay, so that's kind of like the Shane part. That's kind of like the level where you're killing in order to protect your own, and in order to save Beth, and in order to do, and Carol, and do what you have to do. So that's fine. But what happens later on is he goes a step beyond that, I feel like, where his selfish desires to be with Jesse, it seems like to me affect how he handles the Peter situation, to the point where he kind of like sets him up, and Jesse even asks him, would you do this for anyone? And his answer is no, he wouldn't. That to me means it's selfish, evil intent, because if he wouldn't do it for the lady down the street, why would he do it for this lady? That's selfish reason, because he wants to be with her, right? So from that perspective, Rick, I believe, he's at the line, and he's crossed that line a little bit. He's gone in Shane a little bit, just a little bit. Now, it's not so bad to where it's Walter White, where he's willing to just blow up the neighborhood, but without any trouble. But he's teetering on the brink. Maybe Morgan, now that Herschel's not there, Morgan can kind of pull him back. Carol is not a good person to pull him in the other direction. But his transformation has been really interesting, and I love kind of people to debate, and you guys can write in the comments below and debate this with me if you want, and each other, where Rick's character is at, and how you view him at this time. For that reason, and kind of for others too, I mean, he's dealt with some crazy shit with Terminus and cannibals and everything, so his view of the world has got to be very bleak at this point, very, very bleak. So he's going to be really willing to kill and easily, beating up Aaron and doing stuff like that without any hesitation at this point. So but he is what he needs to be. He needs to be that in order for the group to survive. There's no question about it. He has to be like that in order for them to survive. It's just sometimes when you bring in the selfish part, that's where it crosses over to, I would say, evil behavior, where you're not really doing what's right. You're doing what is kind of right, but you're also including it towards, with your own selfish intentions as well. So that's where it pushes over. But anyway, interesting stuff. I like to call him Evil Rick sometimes. We'll see if that part's gone. If we see anything like that again, we'll have to wait and see. But Rick's transformation has been awesome to see him finally kind of see Shane's point of view and realize that, maybe they did have to kind of kill Randall. Maybe they couldn't let him go, or, tough question. So that's number 2. Number 1 is going to be Carol. So, of course, has to be. I mean, I am just absolutely stunned, awestruck, gobsmacked with what they have done with Carol. She has just gone from one perspective where she's just like this helpless kind of can't really do anything, and even Merle talks about it, to this absolute vicious badass killer where she's not afraid of Morgan, she's not afraid of anything. She'll go into Terminus and she'll blow the place up, and she'll do so. I love her transformation. Has got to be the best and has to be my favorite. She goes from Mrs. Chip to Mrs. Chip in a weak state to, the toughest female in the show, I would say, even above Michonne. As tough as Michonne is, would Michonne been able to take out everyone in Terminus? It's tough. It's tough. It's a tough call. But Carol is super crafty, super badass, and love to see what they've done with her in the show. She's got to be number 1. So to count down again: number 5, Shane; number 4, Michonne; number 3, Daryl; number 2, Rick; and number 1, Carol. You guys can write some other characters below. There's lots of characters that have changed throughout the show, all the way through as we've seen it. So you can write yours below on what you think and what your thoughts are on right and wrong, good and evil, and where the characters lie, their humility and humanitarianism, and everything. So write your comments below. If you guys like this kind of discussion topic video, top 5, you can go ahead and thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, you can share, you can favorite, send me other video requests and questions for Q&A, guys, into a new year now. But nothing really is going to change with regards to the channel. It is what it is. It's not going to change. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, you can subscribe at the bottom left. If you don't, punch yourself in the face. Right in the face. Punch yourself in the face. No, don't do that. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. We'll see you again for the next one. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace.